So thank you so much for being here today. Today we're going to talk about the power of storytelling in fundraising and how to reach the right audience with your mission. My name is Aretha Simons. I'm the webinar producer here at TechSoup. I'm so excited you're here. I know many of you have been on our webinars and you already know the housekeeping, but I'm just going to let you know this is being recorded. So you will get the video replay. If you need the closed caption, go ahead and hit on the CC button at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to move out of the way. I'm going to end the poll question and let Thomas from Constant Contact take it away. He's going to do a great job and have a great webinar, Thomas. Thanks for being here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Aretha. And thank you, everybody, for sharing and for letting me know where you are. We've got a broad group, a broad audience here. So I'm so thankful for you taking an hour out of your day, especially since yesterday was Giving Tuesday. Like, kudos to you for taking some time to jump in and be able to learn the power of storytelling and fundraising so that we can finish off this year strong. I'm going to recommend right out the gate, keep that foot on the gas, keep pounding out the rest of this year so that you could start 2025 off on the right foot. Let me give you just a quick introduction. My name is Thomas Netesheim. I'm a sales engineer and partner success manager here at Constant Contact, and I also am an executive director of a little nonprofit over here in Port Charlotte called Restoring Oaks, and it's a nonprofit where we do human trafficking education, advocacy, survivor care in this area. So I've been in your shoes, and in fact, I don't know if you'll be able to see this with my little camera up here, but we actually did a mosaic event yesterday for Giving Tuesday that was just all about raising funds, raising awareness, having a good time. So we made these little candle mosaics. If you have never done a mosaic event where you take broken pieces and you make something beautiful, it's a great symbol of what I'm sure all of you are doing on a day-to-day basis. And so it's just a great opportunity to share some of these opportunities with you and share a little bit about what we're doing. So let me just ask you real quick up the top. How did Giving Tuesday go yesterday? Were you above what you were expecting? Were you about the same as what you were expecting? Were you hoping for a little bit more? It's a big day. There's a lot of things that we do. I mean, part of me is like, man, why did they have to throw Giving Tuesday after everybody has already spent all their money on Black Friday and Cyber Monday? But you know what? It's a great opportunity for all of us to step aside and to give back. And so it's a great opportunity to engage that community. And so, how did it go? And part two, how did you engage donors this year? How did you connect with them? How are you following up with them? Are you doing a tool like Constant Contact? I'm assuming that if you're here, you at least are interested in digital engagement, digital marketing. I know sometimes marketing can sound a little bit scary, but even nonprofits have to market themselves. Even nonprofits have to connect in these ways. And so my goal today is to get you on fire to wrap up the rest of this year, get next year going strong. And at the end, there will be a special offer with Constant Contact and TechSoup that you're able to take advantage of over the next couple days. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick introduction to digital engagement, just so that way you know kind of what you're getting into. And then we're going to talk through what to send to your audience. Then we're going to talk through the power of storytelling in digital marketing, the importance of segmentation, and then we'll talk through that special offer. And then if you stick around towards the end, I will also do a brief demo of Constant Contact so that you can see a little bit of what we are talking about over the next few minutes. The idea here is that regardless of if you use a Constant Contact account, you'll be able to walk away with some nuggets of truth to help you get in on your digital engagement journey. But let's first of all get started with an introduction to digital engagement and digital marketing. So a quick did you know? Did you know that 86% of the world's population owns a smartphone? This was back in 2023. So that means almost 7 billion people have a smartphone. So we want to be able to engage with them in the best way that we can through things like email, social media, text. All of these things are great ways for you to be able to engage with them. In fact, consumers say that they were influenced to buy or to donate or whatever they're wanting to do through 34% email marketing, 30% text messages, and 20% social media. The takeaway here, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't just focus on boots on the ground guerrilla marketing where you're just going and knocking on doors. That can be an effective tool. Email marketing is an effective tool. Text messaging, social media, these are all effective tools, but you don't want to isolate them. You don't want to just focus on one thing. You want to have all of the above available to be able to connect. For the purpose of our conversation today, we're going to focus chiefly on the email side of things, but just know that all of these are great ways for you to be able to engage. And the best way to engage with your audience is by sending the right message to the right people at the right time in the right channels. That's the other thing that we'll talk briefly about is it's going to be a little bit different when you send out an email versus a social post versus a text message. But like I said, we are going to be focusing chiefly on the email marketing thing. So why email marketing? I actually had this question earlier today. Since social media is in here, isn't email marketing just a dying breed? Isn't this something that we really don't need to worry about anymore? Well, let's talk through that a little bit. So the first thing with email is that it helps you stay top of mind with donors and prospects. There are emails in the inbox. Y'all probably got hit with a bunch of Giving Tuesday emails yesterday. But if you're able to have your brand, your logo, your color scheme, all of these things available front and center, and you've built those relationships with people, they're going to start looking for you in their inbox. And this is a great way for them to be able to do that. And 61% of consumers support or enjoy receiving those promotional type emails, and you're not going to be bothering them. You see a return on investment for every dollar spent in email marketing, you get about a $36 return on investment. And email is almost 40 times more effective than Facebook and X combined. So this is a great asset. It's a great opportunity. The key is going to be what you are sending out. What are some of these pieces that you are engaging them with? Because you don't just want to send just to send. You want to make sure it's effective. You want to make sure it's timely, and you want to make sure it's relevant. So let's unpack this a little bit. Finding the best communication strategy for your organization. Begin with the end in mind. Determine what your end goal is. Is your end goal to collect donations? Is your end goal to get registrations for an event? Is your end goal to get volunteers? Probably all of the above, right? But if you have emails that are targeted and sent out with those end goals in mind, that is going to be a great way for you to start building those relationships. Make it feel personal. If you use a tool like Constant Contact, you have the ability to send a bunch of emails out at one time, but it still is looking like it's sent to individuals. So I always say it, it's kind of cheesy, but write to you and not to y'all. Make it so that it is something that feels personal, feels like you are having a dialogue as if they are the only person in the room, and you can absolutely do that through a tool like Constant Contact. Don't go overboard. Don't make the emails super long. I had one email that I saw when I worked in the support days. I've worked over at Constant Contact for 12 years now. And I've in my support days, I saw one email that was actually from a nonprofit, and it was just scroll city. I was just scrolling through it, scrolling through it. I was like, okay, how long is this thing? I copied and pasted it into a Word document. It was 91 pages long. With the average time frame that people have for an email, I mean, probably 30 seconds tops. Anybody know how to read 91 pages in 30 seconds and get what they need? Right? So we want to make sure that we're not going overboard, that we're giving them the information that they need to then be able to take that action. And understanding the supporter lifestyle. This is key as well, making sure that you know your audience. You are the experts in your mission and your passion. How do you connect that to your community? So then how do we use email marketing to do this? I'm going to say relationships and connection and segments a lot today because the key here is not just some people call it spray and pray marketing, some people call it shotgun marketing, some people call it just send to everybody and hope somebody responds. We want to nurture those relationships and we want to build that rapport and trust people enough and take advantage of the trust that they've given in us enough to respect that relationship and not waste their time. So making sure that we are relevant with that and we're building those relationships. And a lot of that is just what you do on a daily basis. Take the passion that you give on a daily basis and incorporate it into your digital engagement. Raising awareness and educating supporters, education is key. How are people going to engage with you if they don't know who you are and what you do? Promote those events. As I mentioned, we had a Giving Tuesday event. We have a gala coming up. I'm sure some of you have galas and other events coming up. Make sure you promote those anywhere and everywhere. Reaching fundraising goals, tell people progress. Tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly. If it's a thing where you really need some extra help, let them know. And then also tracking and measuring those results. You'll get results and you'll get opens and clicks, and all of these things can then tie into segmentation. There's a lot that we can unpack in that aspect, which we're going to here in a little bit. What to say and how to say it. These are really where the rubber meets the road on if what you're going to send out is going to resonate. Number one, what are you trying to accomplish? Number two, why should they care? And number three, how can they get involved? What are you trying to accomplish? Why should they care? How can they get involved? If you can answer those questions with every communication you send out, regardless of email, social, SMS, whatever the case may be, you got to get those questions in mind and answered in order to resonate with them. So, tips for effective impact stories. We're going to unpack story just a little bit more here, but here are just some ideas that might help you with getting some campaigns sent out or getting some emails out. Number one, volunteer and staff spotlight. They want to know who you are. They want to know why you do what you do. Spotlight those things, highlight volunteers, highlight community champions that you have. Those are great opportunities. Video and testimonials. Those are always important because people want to see the impact that you are making. Event follow-up, send out a survey, let them ask them what would be better next time. Educational impact, and you always want to connect that back to your mission. Everything needs to go back to what you are wanting to do and what you want them to do. And then again, you see that question, how can the reader get involved? And then deciding where to share your stories. Spoiler alert, you can share them everywhere. And you want to share them everywhere. It might look a little different, but you have the ability to share these stories and you'll want to anywhere where people can engage with you. Let's dig a little deeper though. Let's dig into the power of storytelling in digital marketing or digital engagement. Again, I'm going to throw marketing in there a couple times because I don't want you to be scared of it. This is something that needs to be a part of what you do on a daily basis. But let's talk through how you're going to do it. Why storytelling matters. Emotional connections. How many of you, some of your favorite movies are based on true stories? Right? We love the underdog. We love these stories of somebody who was in the muck and mire and they came out of it. Or the dog movies. The dog movies, I mean, there's a special place in my heart for those dog movies, but that dog better not die in the end or it's over, right? We want these emotional connections. We want this ability to share with people why and what you're doing to make a difference in your community. But you also want to simplify it a little bit. You may understand what your mission is, but that doesn't mean everybody else does. So finding ways to simplify that and to let them know what you are doing and how they can engage with you and why they should care. And then, of course, you want to inspire that action. You want people to know this is because of you. This is because of your engagement with us. This is because of your donations. This is because of you volunteering with us. Bringing them in, inviting them in is going to be key, and showing that action of how they can then help you in this journey forward. Humanizing your mission, sharing stories. I'll tell you this, statistics can only get us so far. We know that. Statistics are helpful, they're important, but they don't go as far as a story. They don't go as far as a name. They don't show as far as an impact. So if you can show those volunteer testimonials and you can show these impacts that you've made in videos and in this type of content, then that helps humanize what you're doing, and that helps hopefully get more people to engage with you. Then you can amplify your reach. That's one thing about social media is if you are able to make an impactful story and you're able to humanize that mission, things can go viral pretty quick. People can share and people can get excited and catch that fire from you. And then enhancing donor trust. Transparency is key. We all know that. But making sure that you are very clear and very transparent with what you're doing on a daily basis with those donor dollars as much as you possibly can. So here are some of the tips for nonprofits. So focusing on real people, not just statistics. I highlighted that a little bit. Using visuals are key. If you have to use stock images, at least to get started, sure. But the key is get some of those personal pictures, get some of those personal connections. So that way people see you. They don't just see stock images, they see you. And then end with that call to action tied to your story, and then also doing your best to align your marketing to your audience. So let's talk through what that means. So we've gone over some of the basics here. Now we're going to get a little bit deeper into segmenting and getting that right message to the right person at the right time. So let's unpack that a little bit. So segmenting your list will boost your results. They deliver 6 times higher than non-personalized emails. What do I mean by personalized emails? Simply adding Dear Thomas to an email and having it automatically fill in my name as a contact record on your account. It's a nice touch and it just feels even a little bit more personal. Proper segmenting marketers can drive 3 times more revenue or more donations per email. And when emails are not personalized, 52% of subscribers say they will find somewhere else to go. Now, that may seem a little bit scary, but you know what? Think about yourself when you're receiving emails in the inbox. Do you more engage with people who make it personal and have those connections and have those stories? Or are you more inclined to engage with an organization that just says, "Hey y'all, how's everything going? We're doing all that." It doesn't quite have that same impression, right? So I want to have that personal connection. And a big way to do that is through segmentation. And segmentation is the act of dividing your contacts into smaller groups or segments based on shared information, traits, psychographics, geolocation. All of these things can be used to help you get the right message to the right person. But why do it? What are the benefits to having some sort of segmenting in your group instead of just mass blasting to everybody all at once? Well, you can see them coming through here. Better engagement, improved opens and clicks, again, talking through the email side of things. Better conversions, increased donations, decreased unsubscribes, and better customer retention. Better people engaging with you and wanting to do more because you are trusting them enough to not waste their time and to give them the information that they are looking for. So how do we best segment for the organization? Does this slide look a little bit familiar to you? It's probably because it's the same thing, just with the title change. Here's the point. It's the same thing, but we're now talking from a granular perspective. Determine your end goal. Make it feel personal. Don't go overboard. Understand supporter lifestyle. This is how you do that. This is how you get to those right people at the right time. So I talked briefly about some of these things. You've got geographic. You can have, if you have a few cities that you service and you want to get an idea of maybe there's an event in one area that you service and you want to focus in, hyper focus on those people in that area, you can absolutely do that. Income, age, gender, marital status, occupation, those kinds of things can be beneficial for you as well, just based on what you're wanting them to do. If you're wanting to have, a volunteer that helps, maybe you're helping in the human services side of things and you need somebody who's a nurse, or you need somebody who's a counselor, or you need somebody that helps with writing grants. We all need grants, right? So if you have those types of positions and you have that type of information, you can hyper focus and see if you can get some of those people that you're looking for. But then you can also do it based on some of the behaviors and actions that they take as well. So you can add fields into a system like Constant Contact that says, hey, they just donated, or hey, this is their last donation amount. Hey, this is them opening your emails, or hey, these are people who have not opened your emails over the past 6 months. Maybe we should do some sort of re-engagement with them. And you can have these things working for you, oftentimes in the back end, so that you can then just focus on the type of content and the type of communication that you are wanting to do. But these are all great ways for you to send that right message to the right person at the right time through segmentation. So here's some ideas, donor versus non-donors. I want you to maybe put some other ideas in the chat. I think that would benefit other people as well, but these are just some ones to get started. Donor versus non-donor based on levels of contribution. If they're some of your big donors, then that might be a good group for you to engage. If they're lower donors, make sure they feel loved too, because they're still caring about what you're doing and they're giving you the best that they can. Show them some love. Volunteers, board members, and staff, all of these groups are important so that then you can send out those communications and be able to get that right message without accidentally sending to everybody, because you probably don't want to send to all of your contacts a board meeting email, right? So having those pieces in place are going to be key. Some other ways that you can generate this kind of information, donation data, email clicks, and then if you have some sort of CRM or contact management system, contact relationship management, that is another way that you can automatically get some of this information in place so that you could then follow up with them. So if you use something like HubSpot or Salesforce or whatever the case may be, you could then incorporate those right into your constant contact account so that that work is being done automatically for you. So those are options for segmenting. This talks briefly about the tools aspect of things. We have a bunch of integrations that are available for you if you do decide to go with Constant Contact. And then we also have another integration that helps get us connected to a CRM, even if you don't see it in our group. But let's talk about growing that list a little bit more. So collecting profile information so that you can go ahead and segment. Number one, as you can see here, you have a sign up form. Very simple. Put a sign up form on your website. Ask them for first name, last name, email. If you want to send text messages to them, ask them for their text message email or their SMS number. Then you can send out SMS messages. Then you can send out newsletters to them. But you could even get further than this if you want to put address, if you want to put specific donor data or volunteer. Are they a volunteer with you? I'm going to show you in the demo what that would look like if you wanted to segment based on your current volunteers or non-volunteers. All of these things can be used in a landing page or a sign-up form so that you can at least get an idea of where their head's at and how they're able to connect with you. If you have existing people and you want to just update those preferences, then you can ask them to update their preferences as part of the account in Constant Contact. And that again gives you that ability to pick and choose, or have them, excuse me, pick and choose what they are interested in and how they want to engage with you. So what types of lists could you have in place, or what types of content can you send out based on what they are wanting to get from you? Again, getting that right message to the right person. We have a tool inside of the constant contact side of things that's called click segmentation. And this is another option for when people are already in, when you are already in the system, excuse me, and you are wanting to get people to go to that list automatically without you having to do that. So briefly, what this will do is if there's a read more, or if you have a blog or something like that, and you have a link that goes to that blog, there's this little button here called enable click segmentation. And so what that'll do is that will automatically put them into a list of your choosing based on them clicking on that link in the email. And so that's another way for you to get those targeted people so that you could send out more relevant content to them. And then you can also do a survey or poll. We had mentioned if you had another event or if you had something that you were working on, and you want to get follow-up feedback from them, that's key. They want to know that they are part of this journey as well. And if you're able to get that feedback from them, send out that survey, get that follow-up from them, and then implement if you have things that you like that they shared with you, incorporate that. Talk through how you implemented that. Even do a follow-up email about the response that you got. All of these things are great ways for you to invite them into the journey with you, invite them into the mission. And that's a great way for you to do it as well. So here's some other fields and some other ideas that you can have in place. So seniority, how they heard from you, gender, all of these things can be options for you, but also donor data, volunteer data, anything that you think is going to help them with following up and getting involved in what you are doing. So again, be thinking about what those types of fields are. And then there are some pre-built segments through Constant Contact. Other tools likely have similar things, but if you have most engaged, somewhat engaged, this also allows you to send out an email specifically to those people who are most engaged with you, somewhat engaged, least engaged. So that way you can either help them see the mission or keep them on fire for what you're doing. And then there's also the ability to create segments. And I'll show you what this looks like here in the demo, but this is going to be where the rubber meets the road. This is going to be where you're going to see the value of that right message, because the one thing that people will sometimes do is they may have their lists in Constant Contact and they have like 100 lists because they feel, okay, I need to have my board members list. I need to have my cabinet. I need to have my volunteers. I need to have my donors who donated more than $1 million in the year. I need to have my donors over here that, and it gets to the point where it can get a little bit tedious. It can be a little bit hard to manage. But if you have a couple main lists and then you use these segments to then search for those things, these segments are going to be on the back doing all the work for you. And then all you have to do is select that segment and send it out. And then you only have one, two, four, five basic lists that you start with. The segments are going to be key. And that's going to give you that ability to get those right people automatically without you having to go in and update it after you've set those initial queries. So what do you think? Is this something that intrigues you? Is this something that you want to expand on in 2025 or as we wrap up 2024? Engagement through a digital aspect is going to be key. And this is something that I'm going to encourage you and I'm encouraging myself. Full transparency. I knew I was doing this webinar today, and there are times in my communication that I do for the nonprofit that I don't do some of these steps. So I actually stayed up on Monday and made sure that I was practicing what I'm preaching today. And so I would encourage you to look at this and to look at how you can take what you're doing now. Maybe you're already doing something like this. How can you take it to the next level? How can you take it to where you are respecting the people that you're serving enough to give them what they're asking for and to take that extra time to get those things set? If you do decide to use Constant Contact for something like that, I've got some good news for you. We have a special offer that is going on now through December 6th. So there's a couple things that you can do. Number one, you scan this QR code and you get 50% off for the life of the account, Constant Contact Services, just for being part of TechSoup. But on top of that, for Cyber Week, if you see the little asterisk down here, there's the platform fee for TechSoup. It's $5. So if you scan that QR code, $5 platform fee, and then for the life of your Constant Contact account, I'll talk through how you get this set up here in just a second. But this is where you'll be able to pay that platform fee and then see the benefit of that 50% off for the life of your Constant Contact account. So let's talk through briefly the process of how you can set this up. You're going to go to the TechSoup website and you'll pay that reduced admin fee of the $5. Again, this is available until December 6th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So you've got a couple days here. From there, you will receive an email after you pay that payment. You'll receive a confirmation email with a link to create your Constant Contact account. You'll create the Constant Contact account, and then you will select the plan that you want. So you're able to see there's light, standard, and premium based on what you're needing in the account. You'll see the breakdown of what's included. You set your contact level of how many contacts you have, and then you can choose the plan that best pertains to what you're looking for, and you can move it around as you need to. And then the last step is you're able to access that Constant Contact account from there. So that is the process of being able to set up that constant contact account through TechSoup. This is a great opportunity for you. I'm excited for you to be able to get in there and really get your hands dirty in something like this. And the best part is you could set up your account. We'll help you along the way. You've got support if you decide to use Constant Contact. We've got support that'll be available for you on that aspect of things. And you also have your success managers in TechSoup as well. So there's a lot of great opportunity for you here. Now, I want to show you a little bit of what Constant Contact can do based on what we have described. Is it all right if I do that? Let me hop over to a Constant Contact account so that you could see a little bit about what we are doing. And then we will have some time for Q&A at the end here. So I'm in a Constant Contact account. And the first thing that I want to show you here is there's an option in here called Content Generator. Now, I haven't talked about this much, but I know one question that may be coming up is, my goodness, Thomas, this all sounds amazing, but you're running a nonprofit, I run a nonprofit. How do we have enough time to do all of this? Well, we have a tool that can help you with this. And I know that AI can be a little bit of a peculiar thing, but let me show you some of the things that we have in place in Constant Contact to be able to help simplify that process for you. One of them is this content generator option. Now, content generator is going to allow you to put a prompt in. So we're going to use the example of a humane society because we all love our pets. I can put a couple sentences in here. So this is for our pretend humane society, Demco Humane Society. I can choose if I want this to be an email or just a snippet of content. I can choose what the goal is, and I can choose the tone. So I'm going to say I want this to be enthusiastic, and I'm going to hit create. And what this is going to do is based on those couple sentences that you give it, it's going to generate an email for you that talks through whatever it is that you've just put in that prompt. And so this is going to give you pictures, it's going to give you some text, and it's going to give you some sections. And we do also even have something called Brand Kit. And Brand Kit is going to also give you that opportunity to put in your logo, your colors, and it will start filling that information in. So as this is building out, let me actually show you a couple examples of what that looks like. So if I go to my email tab here, screen's being a little bit slow here since I'm showcasing, but let's get over to email. Here we go. All right. So as we're going through here, you could see the different emails. I'm going to pull up the one that we put in just to kind of give you an idea of what this is going to look like if everything decides to load. This is the one disadvantage to doing things live, but this should pull up here momentarily. Here we go. All right, so this is an example of one of those emails. That's where the Jeopardy theme song would have been a good spot to have there. But this is an example of the Demco Humane Society. So we've got Adopt a Guinea Pig month. That sounds like a great month. So you've got this information here. You've got find your next adoption. So we can go in here, and I wanted to show you that click segmentation option. So say you have this donate button up here. I can click on this link and go to edit. I've got demcohumane.org/donate. Right here, this is that click segmentation that I was talking about. So then I can have this be attached to a list that I can either have in here already or that I can create that says donors. Hit create. And now if anybody clicks that donate button, they will automatically be put into a list in Constant Contact that you could then follow up with. And we also have automation capabilities too. Just throw that in there as well. But that could then automatically send out an email to them based on them clicking that donate button and being added to that list. Other things that you can do here as well, if you have a blog, you can insert that blog content just by grabbing the URL for it. If you have video content is effective, so you want to have that in there as well. You just paste in a YouTube link. But the other thing that you can do is we also have this Write with AI for the block itself. So if I go in here and I click Write with AI, you see that same option here. So that's going to give you that ability to copy and paste in some content and then have these options here to be able to set the tone. So we're going to do that same little bit of text. And we're going to change it to enthusiastic and hit create. And now you can see that it's already put in that information. So now I can go ahead and hit insert and it is ready to go. So a really great tool for you to be able to take advantage of that as well. So then when I go in here, I can go ahead and schedule that email to go out. And you can see those lists that we were talking about. So you've got your specific lists in here that you can choose from, or we've got these segments that could be pre-built. I'll show you what those look like here in a second, but you've got pre-built ones and you've got your segments in here as well. Now, another thing that is really neat, and I did allude to, I was talking through a couple different tools that are available for you. We don't just want to hang our hat on the email side of things. So what you can do is if you go through that process of creating an email inside of Constant Contact, you can then use this share on social option. And what this is going to do is this is going to actually summarize the entire email and make it into a social media post. So I just do that same tone option here, professional, enthusiastic, informative. We're going to do persuasive because we want to get persuasive about Guinea Pig Month. Am I right? So we'll summarize and you can see these options right in here. Celebrate National Adopted Guinea Pig Month. It grabbed everything in there and it compressed it into these captions. So you could choose the ones you want. Notice here too, it added hashtags. Sometimes it'll add emoji for you as well. So this is going to take everything that you've put in that email and it is going to condense it into a social media post that you can then put onto your Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages. Choose an image that you want. And you already have a post that you could either post now or schedule for later based on that newsletter that you have already created through your Constant Contact account. So this is a great opportunity for you to take the same content and repurpose it for these other pieces. Don't need to reinvent the wheel, just repurpose the content that you already have. The other thing that I want to show you, and with the way that this first one did, I'm not going to wait live for this to happen. So I'll show you the way that it has been, the whole package, the whole sausage, and then I'll show you how it's actually made here. So what you're going to do here for the multi-channel setup is we're going to choose a plan. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to give it a prompt, and then it's going to automatically create a series of emails, social posts, SMS messages if you decide to opt into the SMS side of things, and an event. You can also host events inside of Constant Contact. So I'm going to give it the same prompt as I did before. Give it a time frame, how long you want this campaign to run. Choose what you want here. Put in your industry, and then you're going to click Create Campaign. And so this is going to work. It takes about 2 minutes or so for it to build out a series of campaigns for you. I'm going to show you what it came up with in the pre-baked option here. So when we put those prompts in, it automatically created an event for a cat adoption event. It created a social post with imagery in there, by the way. Do you see that? And it created an email that's going to try to pull the brand for you. But look at what it's tried to put in place. You've got your cat images here. You've got enjoy your life, the beautiful of the feline companionship. And you also have, if you did have SMS, this would also give you a text message capability as well. But this was all created automatically based on that couple sentences that I put in there. All from just a couple clicks and a couple prompts. In fact, it just did the one that we did just now. So created just now, one email, one event, one social post, all set up for you. Then you just fine tune it. You can edit any of these, get them to look the way that you want, and then be able to send that out to those specific platforms. Really neat tool, really helps you save that time, really helps you get started. I always recommend use AI as your companion and not your replacement. So you do want to go in here, make sure everything looks good, make sure that it is going to give you what you need, but it can definitely come alongside and help out with that. Now, let me show you the segmentation aspect of things, and then I will open it up for any questions that we have so that way you can see some of the segmentation side. So I've got a couple of them in here already, and I'll show you how I built these. So this one is did not open in the past year. So you're sending out campaigns, you're getting people engaged. This criteria is very simple. All it is that the person did not open any email in the last year. If you want to send out a campaign to try to re-engage with them, this segment is going to just automatically work on the back end. So that way, as you're sending out emails ongoing, this is going to be up to date automatically for you. Let me show you another one. Not volunteering currently. If you import the information of if somebody is a volunteer or not, then you can use the segment tool to say, is the person a volunteer? Yes or no. So if you want to grab all of your people who are not currently volunteering and you want to say, hey, we've got this big event coming up, you can do that. You can also add additional criteria as well. Maybe they haven't volunteered yet, but they have clicked on any email in the last month. So if they've clicked on a link in your email, then it's obviously obvious that they're wanting to engage with you. Maybe you can take that an extra step. So this allows you to build out this query of segment, and then that's just going to work on the back end for you. One more I'll show you here, and then I'll open it up for any questions that come up, is the current donor. So if you have a field in here, and you can even put dollar amounts if you want in here, but even if you want to keep it as simple as are they a donor, yes or no. Again, you can have a donor field. If that donor says yes, if they're a donor in your system, then you have a segment that you could then engage with them with a thank you, with a hey, we need you now more than ever, those kinds of things, all based on the information that you put into the system. So I wanted to show you both of those examples because one is something that is automatically done based on you sending out the content, and the others are ones that you can do based on the information that you put into your constant contact account. All right, I talked a lot. Hopefully, this gets you excited. Hopefully, this is something that gets you fired up for just ramping up 2024, getting everything ready for 2025. I really hope that you have an incredible 25. I know every person in here has a mission. You have a vision of something that you want to see done, and you're going after it. And so I applaud you for that. It isn't easy to run a nonprofit. It isn't easy to do what you're doing, I'm sure, on a daily basis. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some time, but also keep that foot on the gas and keep moving forward so that you can continue to make that impact in your community. With that being said, I will open up the floor for questions. I've got people on my side, Priscilla and Rafi, who will fire off some questions for me. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for the time. Thank you for, again, taking some time today after a busy day yesterday to hopefully get some ideas underneath your belt on how you can engage. And again, if you want to connect with us, we would love to help you. All right.
Oh,
So looks like, go ahead, Priscilla.
hi everyone. Okay, so we have a lot of really good questions. I'm gonna just pick some out. There were a couple that we highlighted. IHM Literacy Center admin asked, "I'm so excited to get started with Constant Contact, but don't have the contacts to share my org stories with. Any tips on creating connections, audience, followers? We've got a short donor mailing, I'm assuming list of folks, but we need to start engaging with others too."
That's a really, really great question. So, there's a few places that you can get started with that. Number one, if you have a website, make sure that you've got a very clear, easy sign up place directly on your website and in multiple places, because that can be something that people can subscribe without you even having that conversation. So, that's an easy way to do it. If you aren't on social, that's another thing that you can do is you can build out a landing page and you can post on social. Hey, we love that you're following us and you're connecting with us. Would you like to join our mailing list so that you can get VIP style content? Maybe you can use your newsletter as a way to be the first dibs on upcoming events or be the first dibs on when you have an adoption event if you're working in the animal business or whatever the case may be. Bring that value in and hopefully people will follow on that. And then, of course, in your day to day, in the conversations that you have, throw a sentence in there of, hey, we want to make sure that you are engaged. We want to make sure that you know what is going on and what our mission is. Would you like to join our list? So you can do it organically through that, through your website, through social media, and then just anybody that you have that are already in your corner that are already passionate about your mission, have them bring referrals too. Have them share the love with their audience as well. So those are some great starting points for you.
Awesome. Another question was, any tips on how to choose the right account? Or is it just about the number of contacts?
Great question. So, really, it's all about what you're wanting to do. The thing that's really great about Constant Contact is whether you do the standard or the premium plan, everything that I showed you is in both the standard and the premium plan. We didn't get into automation and we didn't get into SMS in much depth or anything like that. And so, if you want to do a campaign builder or if you want to do segmentation and all of these things, these are available for you in those plans. I would recommend one of those first two there, but any plan is going to help you send out those emails, be able to post on the social side of things. So it's really going to be just a matter of, do you want to just focus on email for now? Great. That plan is great for you. If you want to get fancy and you want to get into some automation and things like that, that premium plan will be the best route for you.
Awesome, awesome. We have a ton of questions regarding Donna Watergrove, Jernigan, Blueprint Schools Network wants to know if we would also allow the discount to apply if they already have an existing Constant Contact subscription. So typically this is for new customers, but in the Art of Giving Tuesday, I spoke to our stakeholders, and they're actually going to honor that for any existing Constant Contact nonprofit. So you have to make sure you scan the QR code. So make sure you scan the QR code, take advantage of the discounted admin fee through TechSoup, pay the $5, and we will be able to apply the 50% off discount to your existing Constant Contact account. Now, probably the best way to do it is just call billing or customer success team on our side, and we'll be able to get you that discount.
Perfect.
Awesome. Another question from Hattie Williams. We asked for a little bit more clarification, but she said, will this same process work for a letter?
So if you're talking about a just kind of a letter from the executive director style email, then yes, you can create really the content that you put into the template is up to you. The biggest thing to keep in mind is you want to get the information as quickly as possible to them without running too long. Because as I mentioned before, you've got about 30 seconds of time. We have a very short attention span and a lot going on. So make sure that whatever it is that you're sharing is concise. But yes, if you wanted to send out, I've seen several emails of organizations that I'm attached to where they will use this as a letter from our executive director or something like that. Or if you wanted to, I wouldn't necessarily do like donor letters through here per se, but you could. The main thing here is going to be just content that is going to be more of that one to many style relationship where you're just keeping them apprised of what's happening in the area, how you're getting involved, what your mission is, what your vision is. And so that's going to be the main ways that you would use something like Constant Contact.
Awesome. Another question from IHM Literacy Center. What would you recommend as an introductory post? We're getting started.
That's a really good question. And honestly, we are at the right time of year, right? We just wrapped up Giving Tuesday. You're probably picking up on how things went on that aspect of things. And maybe you're wanting to use what you've learned over this past year to get you excited about next year. So if you're starting now or you're starting at the turn of the new year, I would say that would be a great starting point. Looking back on 2024, looking ahead to 2025, helping them see what you've learned and where you're going is a great starting point. And then, as part of that, you could say part of this is we want to make sure that you are aware of where we are and what we're doing. And that's a great place for you to start. And that actually transcends the email. That could also be a social media post or a few posts that you do to help people gear up for 2025. That is a great opportunity for you so that you can get that introductory post out.
Awesome. I think that's it for a lot of the questions. We answered a lot of the questions through the chat. A lot of people are asking what the phone number is to call. Let me get that over. So you guys are going to call our support and just let them know you are a TechSoup customer. You paid the admin fee. They are going to ask you what that request number is. It should be a number that you get through TechSoup. It starts with a 4. You'll see it once you go ahead and pay that $5 admin fee. But just to remind you guys, it's $5 from now until the 6th, right, Thomas?
Yes, through
Okay.
December 6th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Yep.
Okay, perfect. It's typically a lot more, but you're going to call the customer support phone number. It's 808-606-7321. I'll repeat it again, 808-606-7321.
Perfect. All right. Well, if that's the end of the questions, thank you, Priscilla, for sending those over. And I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you for all that you do in your community. Your communities would not be the same without you. And you make a big impact, whether sometimes you see it or not. Just know that it's there and just know that you are making that impact. So thank you. Thank you for taking an hour out of your day to listen to this guy talk in his cloffice. But you know what? Hopefully you've got some ideas and you've got some ways that you're going to be able to continue to make that impact in your community. So thank you for the time. And if you are able to join on to Constant Contact, we'll love to have you. And thank you so much, Aretha and team at TechSoup for hosting us today.
Awesome. Goodbye, everybody.